Today I'm telling you the best bedding hack I have ever found. While I was prepping my vision for this room, I was looking at pictures like these. There's just something about the understated look that I really loved. I feel like it went along really well with the bathroom look that we did for our bathroom renovation. But I was having the hardest time finding a blanket that went floor length on all sides that didn't cost $300 to $400. So, anyways, I'm bringing the good news here to you guys because I'm a little bit upset if somebody knew about this and didn't tell me. So, the magical bedding that I discovered is actually not bedding at all. It's actually a couch blanket. Where has this been my whole life? Apparently on Amazon. I've never heard of couch blankets before. I've only had a cat, and yeah, he did shed a lot, but we are not couch blanket type people, and it just would have never been something I thought to look up. I don't even remember how I came across it, but I searched on Amazon like specific keywords: oversized blanket, oversized king blanket, and these do not pop up. So if this is something that you guys were looking for, 100% go and run and get one. But let's talk about some of the things I would think about before you go and purchase. Even though on Amazon, we all know we love their return policy. You have about 30 days, sometimes it's 2 weeks. So you got to make sure you check before you order. But here are some things that I would be thinking about before you pull the trigger. Okay. Number one, of course, you have to know what design vision you're going for. Go back to your Pinterest board. If you don't have it already categorized with bedrooms, just go through and look for all the pictures that you saved of a bedroom and figure out what the most like common style was. And sometimes we don't notice the small details when we're thinking about big picture things, like maybe you were looking for the headboard, maybe you were looking for a light fixture, maybe you were looking for the bed frame. But because the photo stylists are professionals, they're going to be really good at putting together the right pieces for the most part. So that can give you a good hint to like what style of bedding you should be looking for. Do you want it to hit the floor, or do you have a bed frame that's really pretty on the outside and you don't want to cover it and you want more of a tucked in sort of look? Not only how you're going to style the actual blanket itself, in what way do you want it to be laying on the bed, but you also just have to think about the overall vibe of the room. Number two, and this is what I had to personally sort through myself, was do I do solid or do I do a pattern? I ended up just buying multiple samples because I am the type who needs to see it in the room before I can confirm. And this was also really helpful for me because I wasn't sure of the color either. I tend to prefer white bedding, but it ended up that a darker color grounded the room a little bit more. The dark brown gave a very good visual weight to the room. And I also love this one that I have on right now, which is called the Ginkgo pattern. And the pattern I feel was the missing element to the room in general. When I put this on, I was like at peace with my life. And that's a lot to say because this room has been racking my brain ever since we first moved in. So that would be my suggestion to you. If I was looking at your room right now, I would be thinking, what are the visual weights that I see already present and what's missing? For example, if you've got lots of wallpaper on your walls and you like a really balanced look like I do, you probably would want to go for a solid bedding. If you have a really dark colored wall, you might want to balance it with a lighter color bedding. If you have white walls like me, but a patterned rug, you might like to do a solid color. So you kind of just got to take inventory. And again, it depends on your final goal. If you're a maximalist, it would be so fun to do a pattern blanket and a pattern pillow. I guess it's kind of like I have here, but I'm not a maximalist. But I do think elements of maximalism are fun sometimes when you have a big white box like I do. So just remember to keep all of that in mind. The visual weights of things matters a lot, and that is the most important key to making any room feel cohesive and put together and really polished like we're all dreaming of in 2026. Number three is your options for styling. Of course, go back and reference your photos, but you can also play around with this as well. I see these blankets checking off the box for three different styles. Number one is if you want it to be a floor length, simple cover that goes about 2/3 of the way back. The biggest ones I saw were about 90 inches deep. This one is 70, I believe. I think that's the option I'm going to go with, assuming that I get a headboard again so that it just breaks up the white on white from the pillows to the wall. The second great option is just as a throw blanket over the end of the bed because this is so long, I just feel like it gives that luxury look that actually fits the scale of the bed, especially a king bed. It is so hard to find big blankets. It really helps as far as following the proportion of the bed for the width to go up the bed, across, and down, and actually have enough to give it that extra fabric material instead of typically they just kind of fall like just barely on the edges. That's if you can find one that big. Or number three, and this is an option I'm exploring too, to have the coverlet go over the pillows as well. So you can see it here with the brown example that I did. I think it looks gorgeous, especially if you're one to not have a headboard and have that really minimalist style. I think it looks very chic, very understated, very elegant. If I go with this look, I would take one that had the 90-inch depth and then get another one that had the 70-inch depth and connect them. That seam line will actually end up being just right where the pillows are, so I'm not worried about it looking weird at all. I think where it ends up folding back over the pillows will work out just fine. So if you know how to sew, you have a sewing machine, I think it's going to be a super simple DIY that shouldn't take you very long. Of course, the cost doubles because you'll be getting 2 blankets, but you are still in so much more of an affordable window than the supersized, oversized, floor length, whatever you want to call them, duvet covers. The fourth thing to know is your bed measurements. Even if you have, for example, like mine, a 12-inch high bed frame, the additional height still depends on how tall your mattress is, and then if you have a mattress topper. So it's best to just take a tape measure and measure up one side and then your measurement across. So mine was 24 by 76 by 24, and there were a few different options of measurements on the blankets, different depths of the blankets and different widths. You also want to measure the front of the bed, the depth going all the way to the wall, and then depending on whether you want to overlap your pillows, you'll have to account for that extra fabric as well. My last tip, number 5, is that I actually am still using a duvet underneath, and I think it would look totally fine even if you had something thicker. I would more so be worried if you had a really chunky duvet that only came a bit over the corner, and then your material over it might make it seem a little bit bulkier, like what's going on down there. The solution to that, I would say, is to just tuck your duvet all the way in when you're styling, making your bed. Then you won't have to worry about those weird corners popping out. What I opted for is I just have a really thin summer weight duvet and then I have a cotton cover over it. I don't like using a duvet without an actual cover. Just have the duvet that you love and then take this one off when you actually go to sleep at night and think of it more as like an accent blanket. It's so weird because I've come so far from being a girl who's just like, why would you fix your bed if you're going to sleep in it again? And I owe that to my husband because I do love a really good bed moment now. Like, even when you just walk into your room during the day, it's so nice to see a beautiful room. So I have gotten into the habit to fixing my bed every day. And arguably, once you get your bed looking so beautiful the way you want it to look, you'll probably actually be excited to fix your bed every morning because who doesn't want to see this when they walk into their room? Okay? Bonus footage is me trying a bunch of different samples that I got. I think I tried 6 total. One of them was a green that I did not like at all, so I didn't even try. I had a different brown pattern that I really was into. However, the flowers were kind of this hibiscus tropical looking flower that I didn't think was the right fit for our style in here. But I did love those white geometric stripes. So if you have something that goes with that, I would be so excited for you because I really wanted that one to work. The brown one I loved, already told you guys about. This white creamy beige one, it was so pretty, just like the kind of pearlescent almost beige that it was. I loved it. My husband loved it. The only reason I didn't go for that one is because, like I said, the balance of the room was way off, adding another really light colored element to it. There was one blanket that was not the same, and the backing felt very plasticky. It was very hard and firm and had like a white color on the back end. I would suggest you use one of the links that I have here or just take a browse. And if you see the pictures on the backside that it has that really white color, I would personally stay away from those unless you actually are getting for your couch. I think it has some sort of non-slip element is why they do that, which is probably really smart for pet resistant and scratch resistant, but I would not do it for bedding. So watch out for that one. Okay, that's as much good news as I have for you today. I don't really have a lot of linkable finds because I love thrifting. I love going to antique stores, and I'm just really always keeping my eye out for something really unique. If you guys enjoyed this, if you love this hack, I would really appreciate a like on this video. Follow and subscribe if you like content like this. We'll see you on the next one.